So as I told you, we are going to deal with how to prepare resume. As you know, the resume is the precondition, pre-step of an interview. First of all, there will be an advertisement, and then you apply, and after application, with the application you will have to attach your resume, and the quality of your resume decides a lot, because as I told you that many a time, if there are so many applications, then the company screen them, and only selected resume candidates with selected resume will be sent for an interview call. So your resume should be very good. Now, there are two words which are interchangeably used as the synonyms. One is CV, curriculum vitae, and another is resume. These two words, they are not exactly similar, but they are generally taken as synonyms. They are interchangeably used, but they are different. So, first of all, just for 1 or 2 minutes, I will tell you what is CV, and if you are asked to attach CV, then how to prepare CV, and if you are asked to attach resume, then you should have clear idea what you should attach. So the difference between CV and resume should be clear in your mind, because the company can ask anything. They can ask for resume also, they can ask for curriculum vitae also. Curriculum vitae is comparatively easier to write down, but resume is little bit difficult. It requires a skill. It requires, little bit jugglery, little bit, style, and therefore we will focus more on resume. If you know how to prepare resume, you can easily prepare CV. So for our lecture will be devoted to how to prepare resume. So first of all, let me clarify the difference between CV and resume. Curriculum vitae is a Latin word. Curricular vita. Vita means life, curricular means flow. So you have to tell about the flow of your life, okay, especially your educational life, your academic life. That is the translation. Now, what is the difference? The difference is resume is highly concentrated and focused. Resume is always focused on the post. Curriculum is very general. In curriculum, you tell everything. You give the information about your education, about your skill, about your attitude, each and everything in detail. While in resume, you provide only those details which are related to the post. For example, you are preparing a resume for the manager, then that resume will be different from your resume for the post of a teacher, then from the post of a salesman, then from the post of an assistant production manager. So the post changes, the resume also changes. So resume is dependent on the post, while it is general. It is your general information. Therefore, you can attach your CV for any post with any application. So that is the difference. That resume is always focused on a particular post. Your information in resume is focused on a particular post for which you are applying, while curriculum vitae is a general detail of your educational qualification, your skills, your experiences, and other things related to your life. So it is generally three to four pages, minimum two, but resume should be only one page. Okay, you should complete your resume within a single page. Okay, it should not be two page, because the people who are reading your resume are very busy people, and you should concentrate all your information in a single page and highlight only those things which are related to the post. Okay, that is most important. Highlight only those details which are related to the post for which you are applying. Okay, that is the main point. Okay, now, first of all, the format of the resume. I will tell you what should be the format when you are preparing your resume. This is the generally followed format. Now, the format of resume is not a rigid thing. It changes from one nation to another nation, from one person to another person, from one area to another area. It is not a fixed one and rigid one. You can change little bit things if you want. Now, here you should paste your photo, then your name, and then your contact number. This should be like a heading. Okay, this part is like a heading. And now the resume begins. The first thing is objective, that we will discuss later. Then you give your qualification, educational qualification, your degrees, and then your skills, then whatever you had experience for that post only, that you have to mention here, and then general information about your life, for example, birth date, etc., etc. Okay, when you write down these 5 points, your resume is over. Now here it is not the problem, here there is nothing difficult, here it is quite common things. The whole problem is objective. If you can write objectives in a resume very well, then your resume will be very impressive, because these details are only facts. They do not require any creativity. They do not, reflect your attitudes towards the life, your attitudes towards the profession, your attitudes as an employee. This thing doesn't, show, betray your attitude. Your attitude will be here. So it is about your professional philosophy. It is about your philosophy of life. It is about your wish, which is related to the particular post. So, your philosophy, your professional philosophy, your philosophy of life, and your attitude, and your objective, your wish to be a particular person. The mixture of all these three things should be written in hardly 3 to 4 sentences. And that is the most difficult thing when you are preparing resume. Other things are very easy. Okay. For example, educational qualification. You can write down that I have completed my BSc with physics from that college, from that university in 2016. You can write, I have completed my MSc with chemistry, okay, from that university with that much percentage. Okay. Now, let me ask you simple question. How will you differentiate? That means what is the difference between your educational qualification and skills? What is the difference between your skill and your educational qualification? So how education is different from skill? That I want to know. Raise your hand and say something. What is the difference between education and skill? What is the difference between education and skill? That I want to know, and that should be clear in your mind, because then and then you can write some different things from the upper point, from the previous point. Yes, Harshit.
Our
Yes,
skill
Harshit.
means skill is our individual ability to do something.
And what is education?
Educational qualification, which is our pass through. કે આપણે ગમે એ 10th માં જેટલા રિઝલ્ટમાં જેટલા આવ્યા હોય 12th માં આપણી બધી જે એજ્યુકેશનલ ડિટેલ્સ હોય એ બધી એજ્યુકેશનલ ક્વોલિફિકેશનમાં આવે.
Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else would like to throw some light on this topic? What is the difference between education and skill? Yes, Hardik. Yes, Hardik.
હેલો સર,
Yes.
એજ્યુકેશન મતલબ ભણતર અને સ્કિલ મતલબ આવડત.
No, I am not asking the translation. I am not asking the translation. I am asking the difference of the meanings. Okay. Sandhya.
જી સર, સ્કિલ એટલે આવડત એક એવી વસ્તુ છે કે જે માટે તમારે કોઈ સર્ટિફિકેટ કે કોઈ ગવર્મેન્ટ બેઝ કોઈ વસ્તુની જરૂર ના પડે. અને એજ્યુકેશન એવી વસ્તુ છે કે જેના માટે તમારે કોઈ પણ પરફેક્ટ સંસ્થાનું સર્ટિફિકેટ અધરવાઇઝ રિઝલ્ટ કે એવું પછી જોઈએ આપણે.
Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else? Okay, let me explain you. Two words that you have to understand very clearly. One is skill, another is discipline. For example, physics is a discipline, sociology is a discipline, literature is a discipline, economics is a discipline. They are disciplines. Okay. It is a collection of great thoughts, great ideas, and you cannot be master of any discipline. Even if you learn for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, you cannot say that I have learned everything in this discipline. They are endless because they are jungle of thoughts. Okay. Now, skill is something different. It is limited. You can learn any skill in a limited period of time. For example, flying. If you want to fly planes, then flying the planes is a skill. It is not a discipline. Okay, you will be trained, and you will, after 1 year, after 2 year, or after 3 year, you can fly a plane because it is a skill. It is a skill. It is not a discipline. Okay, so skill is something with the help of which you can do some task. Okay, flying task can be done by, if you know the skill of flying. Okay, if you are a turner, a fitter, or a electrician, then it is a skill. If you are electrician, you can do the repairing, you can do the wiring, you can do the fan repairing, etc., etc. So skill is based on, the special task, while discipline, they are just thoughts, they are just ideas, they are just theories. Okay, now the same theory, the same thoughts, same jungle thoughts, you have to, from that the skill is produced. The skill is produced from discipline. The skill is a child of discipline, but discipline is a wider term, while skill is a limited term. You can have any skill within a time limit, but you cannot master any discipline within a time frame. Even if you are reading physics, then so much, so much depth is that even if you pass whole your life, you cannot be master of physics. If you have started learning chemistry, even if you pass 50 years, you cannot say that I have learned everything in chemistry, because they are always endless, because they are thoughts, they are ideas, they are theories. While skill is something with the help of which you can do some task, that is called skill. For example, for teacher, for teacher, qualification should be a B.Ed, but the skill may be extra. Some candidates might have, and some candidates might have not. For example, communication skill. For example, designing quiz. For example, teaching learning material production skill. For example, test making skill. They are skill, they are auxiliary to your post, they are not the main thing. Main thing is knowledge. Main thing is the knowledge of particular subject. If you are applying for the teacher of English, then knowledge of English is main thing, and that will come from your educational qualification. You should be BA, MA with English and B.Ed with English. That is the essential condition. But for teaching, you require so many skill. For teaching, you require communication skill. For teaching, you require, the quiz designing skill. For teaching and evaluation, you require how to set a question paper. These things are extra skills. Okay, and therefore it is the difference between educational qualification and skills. Okay, one more thing that I would like to add is hobbies. Now here, I have seen that whenever candidates writes about hobby, they write so many things. Some say painting and listening songs and music and dance and etc., etc. And these carelessness can create many problems when you will appear for the interview. Be careful. Write down here only those things which are really your hobby, about which you know lot many things. If you do not know many things about particular thing, then do not write. If you write here football, and if you do not know who is the Indian football team captain, then it is, it will be a very, very bad impression. So, whenever you are writing here about your hobbies, then write only those hobbies in which you have a lot of knowledge. Otherwise, do not write. If you write here chess and you do not know who is Gary Kasparov, you do not know who is the recent world champion of the chess, then do not write here chess. Okay. So you should have a thorough knowledge about that particular subject. If you write here, for example, classical dance, you write here classical dance. Then, then at the time of interview, one of the members from the panel will ask you, what do you mean by classical? What do you mean by classical? You have written that I like classical dance. Then, then there will be definitely there will be a question. What do you mean by classical? Can anybody tell me what is a classical dance? The same question I ask is, what is a classical dance? Anybody? What is a classical dance? Whatever idea you have, you just tell without hesitation. Do not worry about being right or wrong. Just tell, what is a classical dance? Because if you really know the meaning of the word classical, then and then you can answer what is a classical dance. If you do not know the meaning of the word classical, then there will be some problem. Then you cannot exactly tell what is a classical dance. So classical dance, classical music. Yes, Payal, what is your idea?
So some particular form of dance wa- uh, of a country from yours, something unique.
Something unique, something related to your country, something that is in a form. Okay, you have jumbled ideas, but they are, they are useful. They are not wrong, but it is not systematic. Okay, anyone else? Anyone else? What is a classical dance? Or what do you mean by a word classical? Anyone? Yes, Kaju.
सांस्कृतिक डांस बोले तो સર ક્લાસિકલ ડાન્સ બોલે તો સાંસ્કૃતિક નૃત્ય જે આપણે જે તે રાજ્યનું પ્રસિદ્ધ હોય તે.
You have confused the classical dance with folk dance. They are totally two different things, but you mixed them. Good. I will explain you. Is anyone say something? Is there anyone who wants to say something? If you have any idea, just tell. Can we tell that our Garba, our Gujarati Garba, is a classical dance? Can we tell that? Yes, Payal.
No, it's a cultural dance.
It is cultural, it is not classical. Then again, the question remains here that what is the difference between cultural and classical? Okay, let me explain you. Almost all the arts, either painting or literature or dance or drama, everything, almost all the arts can be of mainly two types. Either they are classical or they are romantic. Now here, the word romantic has nothing to do with romance. Please do not confuse the word romantic with romance. It has nothing to do with romance. Okay. So the arts can be classified either as classical or as romantic. Now what is a classical art? Classical art means an art in which the artist follows the ancient rules. Now, these rules are very ancient, or I should say, it is medieval. Before 2000 years in India, there were so many great maestros, great masters of a variety of arts, and they framed down many rules. And if you are following that rules, then your creation is classical. For example, if you are enacting a drama, then you should follow Bharat Muni. And Bharat Muni, in his book, he has laid down so many rules that in a drama on the stage there should not be murder. Okay. In a drama, the artist who is standing on the stage should not show his back to the audience. Okay. The event of the play, the event of the drama should be with time span from sunrise to sunset. Only 12 hours lifespan should be enacted on the stage. These are the rules, and the rules are laid by Bharat Muni. Who was Bharat Muni? He was a great scholar of literature in medieval India. Okay, around 2000 before 2000 years. In the same way, if you go to Europe, then the rules are laid by Aristotle. The drama should be this, drama should be that. It should not be in the drama, that should not be in the drama. So all the rules are laid by great ancient scholar. And if you follow the rules, then your creation, your art is classical. If you say that I have nothing to do with rules, I will have my own rules, I don't want to follow the ancient rules, then your creation will be romantic. And that is applicable to each and every art. Okay. For example, if you are a painter and you are using red color, in your painting you are using red color, then red color should stand for passion, red color should stand for danger, red color should stand for blood. Okay, that is tradition, that is rule. So if you follow the rule, then your creation will be classical. If you do not follow the rule, then your creation will be romantic. I will give you one famous example. All of you might have seen the statue of Queen of Jhansi near Mahila College, MVM Mahila College, isn't it? Have you seen or have you not? Hello. Have you all seen the statue of Queen of Jhansi near Mahila College, Kalawad Road? At the end of the Kalawad Road, that end of the Kalawad Road near Mahila College, there is a statue of Queen of Jhansi. Have you seen? Say me yes or no. Speak out, please.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. Speak everybody so that I can know
No, sir.
how many of you have seen and how many of you haven't seen. Okay. Now this statue is an example of classical sculpture. It is a sculpture. Okay. It is not painting. It is a sculpture. And it is a famous example of sculpture. Now here the rules of sculpture are followed. For example, now this is the platform on which there is a horse, and on horse there is Queen of Jhansi. So platform, and on the platform there is a horse, and on the horse there is a Queen of Jhansi. Now here is a horse. Now according to the rules of the sculpture, if both the front legs of the horse are above the platform, that means that the warrior, the rider of the horse, is killed in war, during the war, on the battlefield. During the war and on the battlefield, she is killed. If both the legs of the horse are above the platform, they should not be touched on the platform. Both the front legs of the horse, if they are above the platform, that means that the warrior, the rider of the horse, is killed in battle by enemy. If both the legs do not touch the platform, if one leg is touched and one leg is in air, it is above the platform, it means that the warrior was wounded, the warrior was injured in the battlefield, but he died at home, but he or she died at home. He was or she was badly injured during the battlefield, and when he returned home or she returned home, he or she was, died. If one leg is touched on the platform and another is in the air, okay. If both the legs touch the platform, that simply means that the warrior is not killed or died because of war, because of battle. His death was because of some other reasons, maybe typhoid or cholera or cancer or anything else. But it was not a death of martyr. It was not a death of a martyr. He or she did not die on the battlefield. He or she died because of some other reasons. If both the legs touches the platform. Now these are the rules, and these rules are followed in sculpture. Okay, in that sculpture also, whenever now you pass from that area, please observe it minutely, and you will find that both the legs are in the air. None of the legs touch the platform because Queen of Jhansi was killed in the battlefield during the battle, and therefore the statue has its rule. It is called classical. But if you do not follow the classical rule, then your art, then your creation is romantic. In the same way, there are so many rules of painting. If you follow that rule, then you should be classical. For example, This is your painting, and here is two people. This is your painting, and there are two people. And if their heads you put in a V shape, one the head of one person is tilted like this, the head of the another person is tilted like this. Now, if their positions of the head make V shape, that means that these two people are either husband or wife, or they are lovers. It is a rule. So if you want to show that these two persons love each other too much, or they are husband or wife, then the head position of both the person should be like this, making V shape. It is a rule. So if you follow the rule, then your art is classical. If you do not follow the rules, then your art is romantic. If you want to write a sonnet, then it should be in a particular form. There should be a particular rhyme, there should be a stanza pattern, there should be number of fixed line. Okay, you cannot write sonnet in 123 lines. 123 lines cannot be sonnet. How many lines will be in a sonnet? Can anybody tell me? Can anybody tell me how many lines will be in a sonnet? એક સોનેટમાં કેટલી પંક્તિ હોય? તમારે એક સોનેટ
સર 14.
લખવું. યસ જિગ્નેશ. યસ
14
જિગ્નેશ.
સર.
Yes, there are 14 lines in a sonnet. Okay, so this is a rule, and if you follow the rule, you are classical. So my point is, whenever you are writing about your hobbies, then you should have so much knowledge, considerably good knowledge about that particular field, about that particular arts. Otherwise, do not write. Okay, so these are the normal things that I am trying to tell you. That is about educational qualification, about skills, about your hobbies, about your experience. Okay, you have to write down just small sentences and be as simple as you can. Do not try to write something in a difficult language. Be very simple, use simple words, and write down about your educational qualification, about your skills, anything. Okay, now our focus is how to write an objective. If I give you 2 3 examples, then you will find out that how to write an objective. Okay, this is just one example of objective when you are applying for the post of a teacher. What I have written? I have written that I wish to further the course of education with the optimum use of my knowledge and skills. I like to be with the tender-minded children. Okay. Now this is the your objective that you should write. Not only this, but something like this. Okay. I wish to further the cause of education. શિક્ષણના ઉમદા હેતુને હું આગળ ધપાવવા માંગુ છું. To further means આગળ ધપાવવું. I wish to further the cause of education. શિક્ષણનો જે આપણો હેતુ છે સમાજનો, સરકારનો, પ્રત્યેક વ્યક્તિનો, એને હું આગળ ધપાવવા માંગુ છું. કોની મદદથી? મારું જ્ઞાન અને મારી પાસે જે કંઈ સ્કિલ છે એના મહત્તમ ઉપયોગથી હું શિક્ષણનો જે આપણો હેતુ છે એને વધારે ઊંચાઈએ લઈ જવાની કોશિશ કરીશ. અને કુમળા મનના બાળકોની વચ્ચે રહેવું મને બહુ ગમે છે. ઓકે, ધીસ ઇઝ the very simple, very straightforward and very short objective that you can write when you are applying for the post of a teacher. Now, if it is higher post, another example. This example is about the post of an assistant professor. It is about the post of an assistant professor. Remember, you cannot directly be a professor. You will have to start your career always with assistant professor. Okay. Then after 5 years, 6 years, you will be an associate professor. And after 10 years, you will be professor. So there are three things, three posts, and they are different from each other. Professor is the last cadre. Before that, there is associate professor, and before that, there is an assistant professor. The first appointment will be assistant professor. There is no direct appointment for associate or only professor. I like to deal in knowledge, ideas, and thoughts. Now, what a professor is doing? A professor deals with knowledge. A professor deals with thoughts. A professor deals with ideas. Okay. And I am eager to serve and communicate whatever I have read during my student life. Now, a person who is applying for a professor must be very well read. He might have read so many things, so many disciplines, so many books. There will be a piling of thoughts in his mind. And once you read them, once you are a reader, you will always be eager to serve those ideas, to communicate those ideas which are lying in your mind. So it is a very common tendency among the good readers. Those who are good readers, they are always eager to speak, because whatever you have written, if those ideas are just lying in your mind, you cannot communicate them, then it will be a kind of uneasiness to your personality. So it is very much needed, it is very much essential that whatever you transfer your ideas from one person to from your personality to another personality. So this thing suggests that you are a very well reader, you are a bibliophile, you are a bookworm, you have read so many things then, and that's why you are eager to teach. So this is second kind of objective. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now let us change the position. Look at another example. You are applying for human resource management manager, means you have to deal with people. Okay, this is the post in which you have to mainly deal with the people, so you have to write accordingly. To deal with people is my skill and hobby. That means it is your passion, you know it very well, you have a skill how to handle the people. I wish I can be a part of your company so that I can manage the people and elevate the level of your company in terms of production and profit. In profit, the company will increase. In production, the company also will increase if I will be given the chance, if I will be given the chance to handle the people. If you make me the manager, I will handle the employee in such a way that the overall effect will be there will be increment in production also and increment in profit also. So that is just, and these are the examples. Okay, now I have given 3 4 examples about the objective. Now it is your turn to write down 3 4 lines, only 3 4 lines of objective for the post of a librarian, for the post of a librarian in a college. What is the post? The post is librarian in a college. Okay, now you are preparing your resume and you have to write down only 3 4 lines as the objective in your resume, either in Gujarati or in Hindi or in English. You can use any language, but I want to listen each and every one of you about your ideas. How will you write the objectives in your resume for the post of a librarian? I give you 3 4 minutes. Okay. Think well. Write down 3 4 sentences only, either in Gujarati or in Hindi or in English. Please do not write in Hebrew or Farsi or Greek. Okay. Hindi, Gujarati or English. Just 3 4 lines. Yes, everybody ready? Please raise your hand. I request all of you to speak something, and do not worry whether you are, good scholar or not. If your objective is scholarly or a common, do not worry about the level. Just speak. That is what I want. Yes, Charmi. Charmi.
हाँ सर सर मैं गुजराती में बोलूँ
Yes.
હા લાઇબ્રેરિયન વિશે હું કહીશ તો બુક્સ વિશે મારું પહેલેથી જેમ કે બાળપણથી મારું એક એના વિશે એમ કે રહેલું છે એના સાથે અચેટમેન્ટ અને બાળપણથી જેમ કે મને જુદી જુદી બુક્સ વિશે એમ કે જાણવું અને વાંચવું ગમે છે અને જુદી જુદી બુક્સનું કલેક્શન જેમ કે મેગેઝિન પેપર્સ જનરલ્સ કે બુક્સ ન્યૂઝપેપર્સ કે ઇલેક્ટ્રોનિક ડોક્યુમેન્ટ્સ છે કે જેના વિશે એમ કે આપણે અત્યારે જાણી શકીએ એ મને એમ કે એનું મેનેજિંગ કરવું પણ ગમે છે અને લોકોને જે પણ કાંઈ બુક્સ જોઈએ છે એના વિશે મને ગાઈડ કરવું પણ એને ગમે છે અને હું આ ક્ષેત્રમાં એમ કે પૂરેપૂરો મારો સમય ફાળવવા માટે પણ તૈયાર છું.
Good. Okay. The only problem is you did not concentrate. You did not made it precise. So make it precise in a just 3 4 sentences and write down 3 or 4 sentences, some beautiful sentences which include all your ideas that you told me. Okay, you told me so many things, and the sentences were 9 to 10, but you have to write everything, mix everything, make it precise, and write down beautifully. Okay, it's very good.
ઓકે સર
Jignesh.
યસ સર, યસ સર.
Yes.
સર ગુજરાતીમાં લખેલું છે.
Okay.
હું એક ગ્રંથપાલ છું. મારો શોખ છે સારા પુસ્તકો વાંચવાનો અને આ માટે મારી આ જવાબદારીમાં હું ખૂબ ખૂબ આનંદ અનુભવું છું. મને સારા વિચારો મેળવવાનો અને વિદ્યાર્થીઓમાં સારા વિચારો અને જ્ઞાનનું સિંચન કરવા માટે હું હંમેશા તત્પર રહું છું. આ માટે હું મારા સર્વશ્રેષ્ઠ મિત્ર મારા પુસ્તકોનો ખૂબ ખૂબ આભાર માનું છું.
Very good. Okay, it was little bit lengthy, but it was very good. So again, make it short, and everything will be okay.
યસ
Harshit.
યસ યસ.
Harshit.
I am used to read so many books, and I know which type of books mainly useful for a college student. So I want to be a part of your library to retain interest of a student toward the books.
Very good. Janvi. Janvi.
I am excited to applying for this position. I believe my skill, experience and qualification will be great asset to your library. I like to work in library with lots of books. That's it.
Payal.
Reading the books and gaining knowledge of different subjects is my favorite work. I wish to help the students by providing and by managing thousands of books of the college library.
Very good. Anyone else? Anyone else? You can speak in any language. Do not worry. If you have written in Gujarati, then speak in Gujarati. But speak something, please. Anyone else? Priyanka. Priyanka.
Yes, sir.
Madhvi. Yes, say something.
એટલે મને એ રીતે ઓબ્જેક્ટિવમાં મને એ રીતે આઈડિયા નથી કે કઈ રીતે મેન્શન કરી શકાય બટ આમ કહેવાય ને કે એનામાં એક એ પોતે એક ગુડ સારા એવો રીડર હોવો જોઈએ બધી બુક્સને એમ હાઈલી ઓર્ગેનાઇઝ કરે, એટલે ઓર્ગેનાઇઝ બુકને ઓર્ગેનાઇઝ કરી શકવા જોઈએ, ડિટેલ ઓરિએન્ટેડ કે રીતે મેન્ટેન રાખવી જોઈએ બુકને.
Okay.
અને એમને સ્ટુડન્ટ્સ કે જે લોકો રીડર આવે છે એટલે પીપલ જોડે ટચમાં રહેવાનું હોય એટલે એ માટે રેડી હોવા જોઈએ, આઈ થિંક.
Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else? Dara, Dara Sarvaiya. Okay, let me ask you the same question in a different way. What is that quality which is highly essential, which is highly required for this post? Which is that quality in the candidate which is highly required, which is highly essential, which is highly important for this post? Give me just one quality that this should be in the person. Otherwise, he won't be a good librarian. Only one quality. What do you think? માત્ર એક જ ગુણનું નામ આપો જે લાઇબ્રેરિયનમાં હોવો જ જોઈએ. If it is not, then the whole idea is flop. Yes, Harshid.
બુક્સ ને ઓર્ગેનાઇઝ કરી શકવો જોઈએ.
Yes, say
ઓર્ગેનાઇઝ
loudly.
કરી શકવો જોઈએ. ઓર્ગેનાઇઝ
Book.
કરી શકવો જોઈએ.
Organized book. Payal.
He should be a book lover.
Book lover. Priyanka. Say loudly, please.
સેલ્ફ ડિસિપ્લિન.
Self-discipline. Okay. Now, self-discipline is the idea, is the quality that should be in each and every employee. Not only in librarian, but it should be in clerk also, it should be in teacher also, it should be in principal also. But the main point that all of you forgot is that what is the main duty of librarian? Main duty of librarian is not to organize the book. It is one of the duty, but it is not the main duty. To read the book is not his duty. His duty is to make the student read the books. That you forgot. Okay. A librarian's main duty is to make the students, more and more students, orient more and more students towards the reading. To make so many students that they come into the library, they issue the books, they get the books and they read the books. If he cannot encourage the students for the reading, then his salary is gone. His salary is meaningless. So the main point is the person should be able to encourage, to motivate, to orient the students for reading. And the question is, how will you do it? My point is, how will you do it? Okay, you want to orient the student for the reading, you want to motivate for the students for the reading, you want to encourage the students for the reading, but what will you do for that? What will you do? Yes, Charmi.
સારા ગાઈડ બનવું.
How will you be a good guide? Tell me in detail.
જેમ કે કોઈ પણ સ્ટુડન્ટને એમ કે જે એ બુક વિશે જાણતા નથી, પરંતુ એમ કે એને એ બુક્સ વિશે એમ કે એને ગાઈડ કરવા કે આ બુક્સમાંથી તમને એના રિલેટેડ જે ટોપિક્સ છે એ મળી રહેશે, એટલે સ્ટુડન્ટને પણ રીડિંગમાં ઇન્ટરેસ્ટ જાગે અને એ એમ કે વધુ ને વધુ બુક્સ તરફ એમ કે એનું અટેચમેન્ટ વધે એમ.
Very good. Anyone else? Anyone else? બીજું કોઈ? પાયલ?
Uh, a good librarian can build such environment in library that more and more students will be attracted towards the library and book reading, for example uh, by some posters with good quotes about the book readings will be useful.
Yeah, it is one of the points. Even though it cannot be the main point, but it is one of the important points that you should, stick up the bills with the slogans regarding the books, regarding the reading habit, so that the student can be attracted towards reading. Okay, that is one point. The most important point is you communicate with the student. You find out what are their interests. If a student is interested in adventure book, you suggest that go to that cupboard. There is Alistair MacLean, there is Jules Verne, there is that writer, this writer, and you will find this book, and this will satisfy your interest. If someone is interested in suspense and thriller, then you suggest them that go to that cupboard. There will be Agatha Christie, there will be James Sedley Chase, and you will find this kind of book and that kind of book. If the student is interested in jasusi katha, the spy stories, then again you can guide them that if you are really interested to be a spy, to be a detective, to be a policeman, then please read Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's uh, Sherlock Holmes. Okay, read James Bond, read that. If someone is interested in social stories, then you guide them. If someone is interested in another kind of literature, for example poetry, then you can tell them what he should read. So the communication between the librarian and the students, that is most essential, because if you do not communicate with the students, how can you know what are their interests are? Because to know their interest, you first of all come in contact with the students, go little closer, make them friendly, talk to them, find out what exactly their interests are, and accordingly you guide them. And there is a golden rule that once you start a book of any genre, maybe a spying story, or maybe adventure story, or maybe a suspense thriller, or maybe a social drama, whatever it is, once you start to read a single book, then automatically you will read another book and third book and fourth book. And at the long run you will also read those books which do not actually lies in the category of your main interest. So there will be a diversification in your interest with the passage of time. You have begin with social stories and you might end with philosophical stories. Okay, so this is the golden rule, that once you start the reading, then your reading will be automatically diversified. You will start to read so many kinds of genre, so many kind of categories. So your first duty is to make him start reading, and for that purpose you must know what the interest is of the student. If you know that, then half of your work is done. Then again, the organization of the books and arrangement of the books and preparing catalog, they are auxiliary, they are not main points. Okay, they are just helpful to your cause, but they are not the main thing. Main thing is you should have a clear idea that what kind of books are available in the library, what is the theme of that book, what is the subject of that book, which are suspense book, which are social book, which are science fiction book. If you know the science fiction, if someone is interested in science fiction, then you can guide them, look, this is the cupboard where you will find the whole science fiction. Okay, So if you do not know about the books of science fiction, then what happens? A student of BSc will enter in your library, and you can't tell anything to him because you yourself do not know that in your library these four books are about science fiction. What is a science fiction? What is a science fiction?
યસ સર, વિજ્ઞાનના તથ્યો.
For example,
એટલે કોઈ પણ ઇલેક્ટ્રિક ફિલ્ડ વિશે, તેના વિશે.
Payal, what is the science fiction? You are a student of science and you
Some
should know what is the science fiction.
some hypothetical stories based on science.
Okay. Hypothetical, imaginary, fictitious story based on any theory of science. That is called science fiction. Unfortunately, in India, we do not write science fiction. We do not read science fiction. Scientifically, we are extremely backward people. Okay. In Europe, the science fiction, the very first science fiction in Europe was written in 1825, around 1825. This is not exact date. I just have a rough idea that in 1825, Mary Shelley, she was a very good writer. Her father was a great poet, P.B. Shelley. And Mary Shelley, she was a girl of 16 or 17, and she has written the first science fiction, and the name was Frankenstein. This was the first science fiction written in Europe before almost 2000 years. Okay. And during this 2000 years, there are so many books of science fiction have been written by the Europeans. In India, it is very difficult to find out a book of science fiction, and our cinema also follows the same. Okay, in Hindi cinema it is very difficult to find out a movie that is actually a science fiction. In Hollywood, out of 10, at least there will be 3 movies which can be called science fiction. Our approach is not scientific, and this you can see that we have almost zero contribution in science. We can have contribution in technology, but not in science. Science is something different, and technology may be some different. So if I give you the statistics, the figures of Nobel Prize, then Nobel Prize started around 1901, around 1901. That means it has been given since 104, 120 years. Every year, 3 scientists from physics, chemistry, and medical, they are given Nobel Prize. That simply means that it should be around 360. 360 Nobel Prize have been given to different people belonging to science faculty. And out of 360, we have just 2. And these 2 also do not belong to Indian university. They are Indians, but they they are not students of Indian university. They are students of foreign university. They are Indian by birth only. Okay, Dr. C.V. Raman and his nephew Chandrasekhar. So this is our contribution. Every fifth, every fifth person on this earth is an Indian. Our population is 20%, means every fifth person is an Indian on this earth. That simply means that we should have 360 divided by 5 Nobel Prize if we want to be average. If we want to be average, then it would be almost 72 Nobel Prize. If we have 72 Nobel Prize, then we would be average, but we have zero Nobel Prize. So our thinking is not at all scientific, and this is the reason that it is very difficult to find out science fiction in Indian literature. Can anybody tell me what is the reason why we are not science fiction? Why we do not think scientifically? Why we do not have science Nobel Prizes? And why we do not have great scientists? Can anybody have any idea? Yes, Pyle.
So the main problem is the way we are studying. We are Most of the students are focusing towards the examination. We are preparing the topics, we are giving the exam, and then we will forget the topics. Most importantly, the science topics. We the students are not asking why we are studying this. They
Hmm.
are just mugging the things up and just giving the examination, passing, getting good percentage. But the main the there is no feel of education in students, especially in the subject of science.
Very good. It was really excellent, Pyle. Thank you so much. Anyone else? You can speak in Gujarati also. Anyone else? જે મનમાં આવે કયો. વૈજ્ઞાનિક વિચારસરણીમાં આપણે શા માટે એકદમ પાછળ છીએ? જે મનમાં આવે કયો. This is really very important question. Extremely important question, not from academic point of view, but when we think of our nation, when we think of our country and its development and its direction, it is very essential. જે મનમાં આવે ગુજરાતીમાં, હિન્દીમાં, ઇંગ્લિશમાં, તમારી ઈચ્છા પડે એ ભાષામાં વ્યક્ત કરો. વિજ્ઞાનમાં આપણું પછાતપણું કેમ? યસ, ચાર્મી.
સર, જે આ વિજ્ઞાન ક્ષેત્રમાંના જે સંસાધનો છે એ પણ આપણે એમ કે પૂરા પ્રોવાઈડ કરાતા નથી બાળકોને. એ સિવાય જે આર્થિક રીતે એ લોકોનું એમ કે એટલી બધી ક્ષમતા હોતી નથી, એટલે એમ કે એમના જે એક્સપેન્સિવ જે તેના સંસાધનો કે જે હોય છે એ પરચેસ કરી શકતા નથી. તેના લીધે એ કોઈ પણ એમ કે વૈજ્ઞાનિક રીતે સંશોધન કરવામાં એ પાછળ રહી જાય છે. અને એ રીતે એને એકેય રીતે એમ કે પ્રોત્સાહન આપવામાં નથી આવતું.
ગુડ.
એના કારણે પાછળ રહી જાય છે સ્ટુડન્ટ. અને પુસ્તકીય જ્ઞાન ગોખીને જ એ અહીંયા સુધી એમ કે પહોંચે છે. બાકી તેમાં કોઈ રિયાલિટી બહુ ઓછા પ્રમાણમાં જોવા મળે છે.
Good idea, Charmi. Yes, the point is we do not have that much infrastructure which are very essential and required for the research. And if we do not have the infrastructure, if you do not have laboratory, then what will you do? So that is one of the very important points. Payal said that we concentrate on the mark sheet, we concentrate on the examination percentage, and we do not go for ideas, we do not go for real research, and that's why we are backward in science. Okay, two things are already told. Anything else, please? Anything else? This question is a horrible question. This question is a very, very dangerous question. This is not an easy question. This is a khatarnak question. And I will be really happy if you know not full answer, but at least a part of answer, then I will be really happy because it is an extremely essential question. So far as our national life is concerned. Anyone else? Should I speak now or should I wait? Okay. First of all, let me clarify the difference between science and technology. Okay. As you know that we all are facing a real, very, threatening coronavirus, each and everybody. And India has made two powerful and very effective vaccines, which have been praised by the whole world. And we are extremely advanced in making the coronavirus vaccine. All of you know that. Okay. And perhaps the people who do not understand between the difference between science and technology, they will start to think that we are really advanced in science. This is not advancement in science, that is advancement in technology. Then what is science? The science is new ideas. The science is new ideas in any field, in sociology, in psychology, in physics, in chemistry, in nature, in naturopathy, in anthropology, in any science. When you give a new ideas which had not existed before, then it is called science. For example, Dr. Edward Jenner find out Dr. Edward Jenner find out the vaccine. That was the new idea. That was the theory, and we used that theory and we made two vaccines. Now we have used the new ideas and made the vaccine. So when you use the new ideas, then it is called technology. The new idea is science. The new idea is science. And when you use that technology to produce something, when you use that ideas to produce something, then it is called technology. So we are advanced in technology, but we are backward in science. Ideas come from Europe. We utilize those ideas and we produce so many things. So producing the things, producing the machines, producing the gadgets, that is not science. That is called technology. Okay. To produce new ideas, that is science. So why we are not producing new ideas? Only those people cannot produce new ideas which have already old ideas firmly rooted in the mind. If there are a set of traditions, if there are the set of beliefs, if there are set of ideologies that is already, the already stuck, already poked in your mind, then these old ideas cannot be replaced by new ideas. So our problem is we are basically traditional people. We are basically the people with beliefs, lot many beliefs, and those beliefs are deeply rooted, which cannot be shaken away by new ideas. And therefore we are not, thinking something novel, something new. And if you think something new, then you are a scientist. Okay. So there is a difference between science and technology. Those people are scientists who think, differently, away from tradition, away from, a traditional ideology, traditional beliefs. For example, ઘણા ગુજરાતી ઘરોમાં જો બાળકો એમ બોલે કે તમે ક્યાં જાઓ છો, તો બાળકોને ટોકવામાં આવે કે એવું નહીં બોલવાનું, ક થી શરૂ ના થવું જોઈએ, ક્યાં જાઓ છો, સિદ્ધ જાઓ છો એમ બોલો. તો સચ થિંગ્સ, આવી નોનસેન્સ વસ્તુઓ જ્યારે બાળકોના મનની અંદર બચપણથી જ રોપી દેવામાં આવે અને ઘર કરાવી દેવામાં આવે, આગળ જતા એ બાળક જ્યારે યુવાન થાય તો એ માત્ર ફોલોવર હોય, જૂની પરંપરાઓનો ફોલોવર હોય. એના મનની અંદર નવા આઈડિયા આવવાની કોઈ શક્યતા નથી. તો સાયન્સ છે એટલે બીજું કાંઈ નહીં પણ અત્યંત નવીન વિચારો. જેટલી સાયન્સની થિયરીઝ ન્યૂટને આપી હોય કે આઈન્સ્ટાઈને આપી હોય, મેડમ ક્યુરીએ આપી હોય, કોઈ પણ સાયન્ટિસ્ટે નવીન વસ્તુ જ્યારે ઓબ્ઝર્વ કરી હોય અને એને જ્યારે એણે થિયરી બનાવી હોય, ત્યારે એ સાયન્સ બને છે. એ થિયરીનો તમે ઉપયોગ કરો અને સાધનો બનાવો, that is technology. Did you understand it? આ વાત તમને સમજાણી?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Is it really clear? Any objection? આમાં તમને કઈ વાંધાજનક લાગે છે? મેં જે કંઈ કીધું એમાં તમને કઈ વાંધાજનક લાગે છે?
No, sir.
આસ્થા, નિશા, Hardik, say something. એક છેલ્લી વાત, and then we will change the topic. we will jump to the next topic of syllabus. The last thing. Is anyone is doing MPhil or PhD? Is anyone from you pursuing his or her MPhil or PhD? તમારામાંથી કોઈ MPhil કે PhD કરે છે? Anyone? Yes, Ruchita Rathod. What is your subject, please?
સર એજ્યુકેશનમાં PhD કરું છું અત્યારે શ્રીમદ.
Okay, so you are doing education, you are doing your PhD in education. Okay, very good. I am happy that you are attending my lectures. Let me explain.
હા હા. Thank you, sir.
When you are doing PhD or MPhil, you have to write down a thesis. Okay, a thesis. When you start to write your thesis, first of all, you can have a hypothesis. You can have a hypothesis. Hypothesis means you think that this is that. You think that. You do not say that. You do not state that. You do not believe that. You just think that this is that. Okay. For example, you are doing PhD on let me give you an example of commerce and economics. Your topic is નોટબંધીની આર્થિક અસરો. ભારત ઉપર નોટબંધીની આર્થિક અસરો. This is your topic in economics or in commerce. Okay. Now you can have a hypothesis that નોટબંધીને કારણે ભારતની અંદર ઇકોનોમી વેગવાન બની છે, ઇકોનોમીને બળ મળ્યું છે. That can be hypothesis in your mind. અને એનાથી ઉલટી પણ hypothesis હોઈ શકે. એનાથી ઉલટી પણ હાઇપોથેસિસ તમારા મનની અંદર હોઈ શકે કે નોટબંધીના કારણે ભારતના અર્થતંત્ર ઉપર માઠી અસર પડી છે. That is only hypothesis. That is not your final statement. That is not your theory. That is just a hypothesis. You begin with the hypothesis. Now you collect the data and facts. You collect the data and facts from each and every corner of the economics and trading and commerce, and you analyze them, you classify them, and there will be the final result. And your final result can be in favor of your hypothesis or can be against your hypothesis. જે કંઈ ડેટા તમે એક્ટ કર્યો, જે કંઈ તથ્યો એક્ટ કર્યા અને પછી એનું એનાલિસિસ કર્યું, એનાલિસિસ કરીને જે તારણ આવ્યું એ બની શકે કે તમારી જે હાઇપોથેસિસ છે એને સંતોષે, એમ એની સાથે એગ્રી થાય. અને એવું પણ બની શકે કે તમારી જે હાઇપોથેસિસ છે એના એ અસહમત થાય, તો તમે એવું કહેવું પડે કે મારી જે હાઇપોથેસિસ છે એ ખોટી નીકળી, એકચ્યુઅલી આમ બન્યું નોટબંધીને કારણે. તો તમારે ફાઇનલી યુ હેવ ટુ રાઇટ ડાઉન ધેટ. સો ધીસ ઇઝ ધ થિયરી ઓફ રિસર્ચ. રિસર્ચ આ રીતે થાય. યુ કેન હેવ એ હાઇપોથેસિસ બટ યુ કેન નોટ હેવ ધ થીસિસ. થીસિસ છેલ્લે આવે. તમને હાઇપોથેસિસ રાખવાની છૂટ છે, તો તમને થીસિસ રાખવાની છૂટ નથી. થીસિસ રાખો તો શું થાય? તમે પહેલેથી જ એમ માની લો કે નોટબંધીને કારણે ભારતને નુકસાન થયું છે, પહેલેથી જ એમ માની લો અને એને જ સિદ્ધ કરવાની કોશિશ કરો. તો આ જે ડેટા કલેક્શન કરશો એમાંથી એવા ડેટા કે જે તમારી હાઇપોથેસિસ સાથે મેચ નહીં થતા હોય, તમે ઇરાદાપૂર્વક એને ડિલીટ કરી નાખશો અને માત્ર એવા ડેટા કલેક્ટ કરશો જે તમારી હાઇપોથેસિસને સાચી ઠેરવે. બરાબર? ધીસ ઇઝ નોટ રિસર્ચ. એને રિસર્ચ કહેવાય નહીં. એ થીસિસ તમારી પાસે ઓલરેડી હતી જ. બરાબર? થીસિસ હતી એ તમે લખી નાખી, કંઈ પ્રૂવ કર્યું નથી, કંઈ રિસર્ચ કર્યું નથી. તો આપણી શું સમસ્યા છે? આપણી સમસ્યા એ છે ભારતીયોની કે they have already the thesis. જ્યારે તમારી પાસે થીસિસ જ છે, you have already thesis, તો પછી તમે કરશો શું? તમે માત્ર આ થીસિસને મજબૂત કરવાની કોશિશ કરશો અને આ થીસિસની વિરુદ્ધ જે કંઈ તમારી સામે આવે એને તમે ઇરાદાપૂર્વક આંખ આડા કાન કરશો, એને કન્સિડર નહીં કરો જેથી કરીને તમારી થીસીસ ઊભી રહે. બટ ધેટ ઇઝ નોટ રિસર્ચ મેન્ટાલિટી. એને રિસર્ચ મેન્ટાલિટી કહેવાય નહીં, એને પરંપરાનું પાલન કર્યું કહેવાય. બરાબર? એવા માણસો પરંપરાવાદી હોય જેની પાસે પહેલેથી જ માન્યતાઓ હોય, પહેલેથી જ એના મનની અંદર વિચારો ફિક્સ થયેલા હોય એને. લેટ મી ગીવ યુ એક્ઝામ્પલ. Everybody of you might have heard the name of Charles Darwin. Haven't you?
Yes, sir.
Haven't you? ચાર્લ્સ ડાર્વિન નું નામ સાંભળ્યું છે ને તમે?
હા સર.
Okay. Who was Charles Darwin? The Charles Darwin wrote the theory of evolution. Okay, ઉત્ક્રાંતિવાદનો પ્રણેતા. Now look at this. He was a Christian. Charles Darwin was a Christian, and the Christian belief is that God has created first of all Adam and Eve, and then Cain and Abel were their sons, and then the family became larger and society and nations and the world, and we all are just directly descendant from Adam and Eve. This is the Christian belief. Now, did Charles Darwin believe the theory? No. Had he believed that, then he could not have given the great theory of evolution. જો એના મનની અંદર જે વિચારો ધર્મ દ્વારા, પ્રજા દ્વારા, સમાજ દ્વારા આપવામાં આવ્યા હતા, એને ચેલેન્જ કરવાની એનામાં તાકાત ના હોત તો આપણી પાસે અત્યારે ચાર્લ્સ ડાર્વિન પણ ન હોત અને ઉત્ક્રાંતિવાદ પણ ન હોત. અને ઉત્ક્રાંતિવાદ ન હોત તો અત્યારે આપણી પાસે જનીન વિદ્યા પણ ન હોત. જનીન વિદ્યા ન હોત તો અત્યારે આપણે સાયન્સની અંદર બહુ પાછળ હોત. તો કહેવાનો મિનિંગ શું છે? કહેવાનો મિનિંગ એટલે છે કે કેટલાય વિચારો જે તમને સમાજ, ટીચર, માતા પિતા, બરાબર, અને ખરાબમાં ખરાબ લોકો, ધર્મગુરુઓ, આ બધા જે તમારા માથા ઉપર જે વિચારો થોપી દે, એને જ્યારે તમે થીસીસ બનાવી લીધું ત્યારે there is no chance that you become a man, a person with scientific approach. વૈજ્ઞાનિક વિચારસરણી કોઈ દ્વારા કોઈ રીતે શક્ય બનતી નથી. કારણ કે વિજ્ઞાનની બેઝિક શું છે? વિજ્ઞાનનું બેઝિક છે કે તમે હાઇપોથેસિસ રાખી શકો છો અને પછી રિસર્ચ કરો. રિસર્ચમાં તમારી હાઇપોથેસિસ સાચી પણ પડે અને ખોટી પણ પડે, એક્સેપ્ટ ઇટ. પણ તમારે હાઇપોથેસિસ નથી રાખવી, તમારે રાખવી છે સીધી થીસિસ. બરાબર? અને પરિણામે આ સમસ્યા સર્જાય છે. આર યુ એગ્રીડ ઓર નોટ? આ વાત સાથે કોઈ અસહમત ખરું? Is anybody there who can be disagreed with me? You are free to be disagree. આ વાત તમને બરાબર સમજાણી? હું શું કહેવા માંગતો હતો એ?
Yes, sir.
જાનવી?
Yes, sir.
હર્ષિદ?
Yes, sir.
માધવી, પ્રિયંકા?
Yes, sir.
નિશા?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that is the point, and it is a very, very complicated. Now I complete our topic, how to prepare a resume. First of all, write 3-4 beautiful lines that reflects your professional attitude, your professional philosophy, and your philosophy of life also. Then mention about your educational qualification in a simple words. Do not write everything in detail. Just mention the percentage, the school, the degree, etc. Then what kind of skill do you have? Just write it down. Then if you had any experience on the same post, for the same post at any organization or in any company, write down 2 3 4 lines about your experience, and then mention about your hobbies, and your resume is over. Okay, that is what we learned from today's. I request you to prepare. Those who are graduate, they should have very ready resume, and you can send me so that I can check it. You please prepare your own real resume for the post of teacher in any primary or high school or as a college teacher. Just prepare a resume, send me, and I will check it out, and I will suggest you the modification and the changes, so that if you can apply in any English medium school or Gujarati medium school, your resume should be very good and very perfect. So prepare and send me. Okay, now we move to another topic. Can anybody read it? Can anybody pronunciate it? What I have written on the board, just read loudly so that I can hear you. Just read, nothing else. What is it? વાંચીને મને ખાલી સંભળાવો કે આમ છે. Without raising your hand, said directly.
Cylon.
Cylon. Okay. Anyone else?
Cylon.
Cylon.
Payal said Cylon. Janvi said it is Cylon. Madhvi.
ના સાયલોન જ કીધું સાયલોન જ.
Cylon. You said Cylon. Okay. Madhvi.
Cyclone.
Cylon. Okay. Anyone else? Is there anybody who says that it is Kylon? Is there anybody who believes that it is actually Kylon or Kilon? My question is, why it is not Kilon? It is actually Ceylon. It is actually Ceylon. It is not Ceylon. It is actually Ceylon. Okay. But why not Kilon? That is my question. Why it is not Kilon? Why you said that it is Ceylon and not Kilon? That is my question. Yes, Janvi.
સર હું શ્યોર નથી પણ લગભગ એવું આવે કે સી પછી જો ઓલા વોલ્સ આવે ને ઈ આઈ ઓ યુ તો એનું પ્રોનાઉન્સિએશન ક થી થાય સ નો થાય એવું
તો સ ક્યારે થાય?
ઈ નથી ખબર સર.
Anyone else? You are right 50%, Janvi, but you missed something. Anyone else? Priyanka.
સર સી ની પાછળ એ ઓ અને યુ આવે ને તો ક વચાય અને ઈ આઈ વાય આવે ને તો સ વચાય.
The very first idea about the spelling rule is if C is followed by A, O, or U, then it should be K. For example, cat. For example, cut. For example, coat. Okay. And if C is followed by E, I, or Y, then it should be sub. For example, cell. For example, circle. For example, cycle. That you should know that how to pronounce the spelling that begins with C, then it depends upon the vowel that follows C. If it is followed by A, O, and U, then it should be sub. If it is followed by E, it should be ka. If it is followed by E, I, and Y, then it should be sub. That everybody should know that. That is the rule number 1. Okay, now I am asking you another question. Read loudly all these 3 words. Read loudly all these 3 words.
champagne, cholera and chamber.
Anyone else?
Campaign, cholera, and chamber.
Champagne, cholera, and chamber.
Campaign.
Campaign,
Cholera and chamber.
campaign, cholera, and chamber. Anyone else? Nisha.
Champion, cholera, and chamber.
Champion, cholera, and chamber. Anyone else? Anyone else?
Champagne, cholera, and chamber.
Champagne. Some said it is champagne. Some said it is campaign. Some said it is champagne. Different students replied differently. Okay. The real pronunciation is it is champagne. This is the right. It is not campaign. The spelling of campaign is totally different. This is campaign. Okay. Prachar, chutani prachar, campaign. This is the spelling of campaign. This is champagne. This is cholera. And this is chamber. Now here, CH stands for shop. Here, the CH stand for cup. And here, the CH stand for cha. So all the 3 spelling start with CH, and yet the sound of CH in first spelling is sh, champagne. Sound of CH in second spelling is ka, and sound of CH in third spelling is cha, sh, ka, and cha. Now the question is, How to know that ch can be cha or ch can be ka or ch can be sh? How to know? How to find out? That is my question. Is there any idea? You know, this is little difficult rule, but you should have at least idea that if a word is a French, then it should be sh. Champagne is a French word, then ch must be sh. If the word is Greek, then it should be ka. And if the word is purely English, then it should be cha. Now you can ask me, sir, how can we know that this word is a Greek word or this word is a French word or this word is a English word? For that purpose, if you will be reading so many books, then after a long time, you will automatically find out that this word must be French. Even though you might not have heard it in past, you can easily tell that this word must be Greek, this was must be French automatically. But that requires a lot of reading. You cannot tell at this moment, but after 10 years or 15 years, if you keep reading and reading and reading, then there will be a time you will automatically look at the word and you will find out that this is Greek word or French word or Latin word or pure English word. Look, I did not study Latin, I did not study Greek, I studied English only. And yet, if you give me 20 words and out of 20, 10 are Latin and 10 are Greek, I can easily tell you that these 10 are Greek and these 10 are Latin words or Italian words. That I can tell you. Why? It requires just experience. But at this moment, you have to know the reverse thing, that if a spelling start with ch and sound sh, then it must be a word from French. You have to remember the reverse thing. If a spelling starts with ch and the sound is sh, then the word must be French. That you remember in a reverse manner. In the same way, if it is ka, then it should be from Greek. If it is cha, then it should be from England only. Is it clear? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
તમારા ઘરમાં નાનું બાળક છે. You have a little child at your home, maybe 7-year-old or 8-year-old, and you are teaching him or her how to write Chaganbai in English. Okay. તમારા ઘરમાં નાનું બાળક છે, બીજા ત્રીજા ધોરણમાં ભણે છે અને એના પપ્પાનું નામ છગનભાઈ છે, તો પપ્પાનું નામ તમે એને લખતા શીખવાડો છો ઇંગ્લિશમાં, તો તમે એને કેવી રીતે કહેશો છગનભાઈ કેમ લખવું એમ? કેવી રીતે શીખવાડશો કે છગનભાઈ આમ લખાય? જે મનમાં આવે કયો, કોઈ જાતની ચિંતા કર્યા વગર. યસ, જાનવી.
સૌપ્રથમ તો એને પેલા આપણે અંગ્રેજી કક્કો આવે કે કનો સ્પેલિંગ કે એ થાય ઈ રીતે એને શીખવાડવાનું આવે.
પછી છગનભાઈ માટે શું કરશું? છગનભાઈ માટે તમે એને શું કહેશો? કેમ લખાય?
છગન છ નો CHH એ ઈ રીતે શીખડાવવાનું થાય. ગનો જી થાય, નનો એન થાય.
ઓકે. એનીવન એલ્સ, બીજું કોઈ કઈ આઈડિયા આમાં દેવા માંગે છે? Nisha, you are at a place where there is so much noise. નિશા, તું એવી જગ્યાએ બેઠી છે જ્યાં બહુ જ દેકારો છે, એટલે જ્યારે તું બોલે છે ત્યારે તારો અવાજ નથી સંભળાતો, પણ આસપાસના વાતાવરણમાં જે ધમાલ ચાલી રહી છે એ વધારે સંભળાય છે. સો આઈ રિક્વેસ્ટ ઓલ ઓફ યુ that take your seat in a bit peaceful atmosphere, bit peaceful room. Anyone else? બીજું કોઈ? Anything you want to add? કાંઈ આમાં તમારે કંઈ કહેવું છે? ઓકે.
સર પેલા એને કક્કા કરાવી, પછી બારાક્ષરી કરાવી પડે ઇંગ્લિશમાં, અને પછી એ લખાવાનું હોય.
ઓકે. તો આજે તો સમય પૂરો થઈ ગયો છે, એટલે આજે આ વાત હું નહીં કરું. આવતીકાલે હું તમને કહીશ કે આપણે ઘણી વખત કેટલું વિચિત્ર રીતે બાળકને ઇંગ્લિશ શીખવાડતા હોઈએ છીએ અને એની કેવી ખરાબ અસરો બાળક ઉપર પડતી હોય છે, એના વિશે વાત આપણે આજે નહીં પણ આવતીકાલે કરશું, જેથી કરીને થોડું લંબાણપૂર્વક કહી શકાય. નાવ વી હેવ એ વન લાસ્ટ મિનિટ, એક જ મિનિટ બાકી હોવાથી આ વાત આપણે અહીંયા અટકાવી દઈએ છીએ. એનીથિંગ યુ વોન્ટ ટુ આસ્ક? કોઈને કંઈ પૂછવું છે? Anything you want to ask? We have just 1 minute. If you want to ask anything, you can ask. No question? Okay, so we will be meeting tomorrow. Then we will discuss that what is the problem with writing Chaganbai in this manner. Okay, if you dictate and teach your child or the child in your family that write down CHAGAN and then Y, then what happens to the child, that I will tell you tomorrow. આવતીકાલે કહીશ. ત્યાં સુધી બધાને have a nice day and thank you everybody.